Okay. I mean, that'll work. No, let's take that one here. Oh shit! Didn't mean to do that. PJ, how's work tonight? I'm still just setting up. Okay. All right. Thank you for showing up, PJ. So I'm starting to. Okay. Okay. I can do that. That's cool. So I'm a little off. All right. I need to. Oh, right here. There we go. Whoops. All right. Okay. There we go. There we go. They trying to act up. Ah, that's funny. That's funny. It's been a lazy day for me. My fiance, she's not feeling good. So it's just watching the games all day. My daughter left a little early, so she was only here till about 4 or 5. I didn't go to bed by the time I was winding down last night. I ain't go to bed till shit about 5 in the morning. Still got up in time to watch that first game. So yeah, it was going cool. Can you turn your volume up? I wanted to check out your past streams. Can't hear your volumes too low. Okay. All right. I will try to do that. I will try to do that. Cause I'm looking at. I will try to amp up the volume. Ah, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. God damn, shit's flying out the box and shit. Oh, hands looking like crocodile hands. Lotion. All right. Well, all right. What's up, everybody? How'd everybody doing their picks today? We had the final 16 teams in, which are Houston. I won that game. I lost the game. I lost the game of Indiana. Miami beat Indiana, so I lost that one. Xavier and Pitt. I won that one. Texas and well, I had picked Penn State, so Texas and Xavier. I lost the Arkansas Kansas game, so we got Arkansas and UConn. I had lost the UConn game because I picked St. Mary, but I won with Gonzaga, and yeah, I won with Gonzaga, and I did not put that in there. Zags. And on the other side, of course, Alabama, San Diego was last night. Creighton, Baylor, I lost that one. Creighton, I lost the one that was last night for Princeton. Fairleigh Dickinson really was already out of that because I picked Purdue earlier. And so we've got Tennessee, and I did have Tennessee advancing there. No, no, I had picked Duke, so I was out there. But I still got MSU to go to the Final Four, so that's always one. Is MSU is always one. Let's see, fifth straight, 3-1, fifth straight winning day. Okay, OTF, that is outstanding. Fifth straight winning day, huh? That is outstanding to hear. Ah, whoops. All right. Okay, here we go. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Did you see the CBS meteorologist collapse yesterday on TV? She had passed out before in 16. She said it was a heart valve, but she said because she had had her baby, it grew. Oh, no, didn't know anything about that. Wow. Wow. Did not know anything about that. So that is interesting. Seems like a lot of people seem to be having, these kind of issues. So that is no, did not catch that. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for all the things you share for me. I do consider everything you send for me. I guess I should put some high vibrations out there. I just got to talking to the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and in the center. And let me send everybody the perfect fifth. Activate me, wipe me down. I guess I should start by saying that this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, Big Pontiac. I am the holder of an infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And on these late nights, I am your one and only Galactic Daddy-O, enjoying and sitting on my galactic patio that goes from Minnesota to the universe. So thank you for all for joining me. Sorry I didn't say that if you never watched any of my work before. This is who I am. So sorry I didn't say that. Hey, Lorenzo, thank you for joining me. Yeah, we got all our tickets for, it's going to be a lot of basketball. We go to Tuesday. The first games start like at 9 o'clock in the morning on the side we're on. For the because I guess it's what are we down to the final eight? We're down to the final eight in class 4A or 4A I think is what it's called here. And so our game is until noon, so I think we're gonna get up there like 10 or 11 because there's no assigned seats, so we're gonna sit on the lower level. So we're gonna get in there on Tuesday and watch the game. When you talked about stem cells and fixing her heart valve, I said that's okay. They are trying to promote this stuff to everyone. Well, I think Jeffrey was what we're going to look at is if these issues came from something that was done to the people the last 2 years, they're going to start trying to want to practice doing it now. So that's what I take out of that. They're trying to, if they're going to have a lot of these issues in the future, they're going to start working on it now. Yeah, I am who I am. That's outstanding. So I would keep that in mind, because they're going to see, even if the powers that play, everything for them is about a 50-year jump ahead of us. That's what it appears like. I mean, even like I talked to you, I talked last night about the first time I went to a nuclear plant and seen a TV watch back in 1974 and 75. And I also, the first time I saw airbags was even earlier than that. I saw airbags, working airbags in a car, because my father worked at General Motors, in 72 or 73. It was in a Monte Carlo, and it was both sides. It had front airbags in 72 or 73 because we got to visit. My father worked, for those of you that are old enough to remember, when GM cars used to say body by Fisher. Fisher was a coach maker that sold out to GM, and so the Kalamazoo plant was a pressing, stamping plant. And so, for those of you old enough to remember, the GM car said body by Fisher. And it was a family day, so we got to tour the plant, and that was one of the things they set up for the plant, that you got to sit in to these airbags. And we know the airbags weren't put into the cars until what, the 90s. So the technology is there for a lot of things that, again, the internet was made for the military. And it might even be, there's even hints that the internet is for a different kind of intelligence out there. that they can use it. They can communicate even faster. So that's probably all true and false at the same time, if you understand. Part of it is probably true. So these are things that just, as we go through our time, have to be considered. What is your nephew's school? My high school of matter is 5A of 6 classes, but we're going up 7A next. It's funny. It's funny because my daughter's school used to be in a lower level. Now, how many classes? See, up here it goes on participation. I think 5A is the most, but it goes on participation up here. So some sports, I think it's out of 5 classes. I think is the way it is in this state. See, Michigan goes A, B, C, and D. It's like that. It's just A, B, C, and D. Chicago. Now I don't know if you guys know about the Chicago, but Chicago has a just Christian league. Part of their city is just they have a Catholic league that just Catholic schools play each other, and then they go to state. So yeah, I think we have. I think 5A. I don't know. I think it may be 4A, maybe the top class. I'm not sure. Because all the schools are bigger schools. But football's a little different. So it's not like football, like in Michigan, A, B, C, D, everything. Football's a little different because there's like 5A, 6A in football. And then in this state, we also have 9-man football. We have 9-man football for the smaller schools. So I don't even know what class they are in. So yeah, we're the bigger high schools. As I mentioned before, if you look up Wyzetta has I can't think of his name, but one of the players of the year. One of the players of the year candidate went to Jefferson, and they got knocked out already. Bloomington Jefferson, he's going to be up. It's a junior, it's going to be up for player of the year, and then there's a senior, and I'm sorry, I don't know. I can picture his face. We played him twice, but he's about 6'5", 6'6". I think the Gophers are trying to get him, but I don't know if he's signed or not. But so I'll probably see him play coming up too. Get and say who he is. Well, thank you. DSM 515, thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So yeah, that's what we got up here, Lorenzo. It's kind of funny. It's like different sports really like football. It has the most classes. There's the most classes in football. Basketball's a little different, so not really sure. I know when my son went to Cooper High School, I think they're 3A. They started in 5A, but attendance kept going down, so I think now they're even in 3A. I think if I remember right. So they're even a smaller school. So, and some of these schools, like my daughter's school, Prior Lake, this school looks like a junior college. Ah. Like what a lot of gyms did is a lot of gyms up here because of it's not even just AAU. It's MY. What is it? MY. It's another league here, but a lot of schools make money off having these leagues, and so my daughter's school just built an addition, and they built I think 6 extra courts. So it's a large addition, 6 extra courts. JW airbag patent, easy documented. This is facts that imagine it wasn't patent. What is this now? JW Hitchett airbag patent, 1953, easy document. This is facts, not imagine what isn't patent. So you're saying the patent was in 53. General Motors put it in a 72, 73 Monte Carlo, and then we didn't see it in the cars until the 90s. Yeah. Interesting. I love car history. Thank you for sharing that. Is it Tyan? Thank you for sharing that. The Justice League 4-hour movie, I believe, is coming to movie theaters. And you can believe I'm going to be in John Wick Thursday. I think it's Thursday. We've got tickets when it opens up. So we'll be up in that motherfucker on Thursday, baby. To see John Wick. Yeah, so. Yeah, in Mississippi, it's public schools. Then they have the private schools. I think that has their own public. Private is MY. Okay, so it's totally, yeah. Then that's kind of how it is in Chicago until they go to state. When they go to state, everybody goes to state. But yeah, some private schools have leagues that are that big, and Chicago is one of them that have a huge um, Catholic league. It's huge, and a lot of brothers go to those schools too. So it's not like the brothers ain't in those schools as well, but because they are. That is too far back. There we go. Put the lock in. So yeah, but like you have many different sports. As I said before, some schools, swimming or golf, they could be in a. Hey, what's up, Key? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. But yeah, I feel good. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so a little tired. I don't know if I'm up to doing 3 hours. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And if you guys have any questions, or we'll just see how it all goes tonight. Uh, but it was a lazy day. We didn't go anywhere. Barely only went outside when I walked my daughter to her mother's car. It was the only time I went outside. So lazy day. Didn't even get on the treadmill today. So kind of a lazy day. Didn't get to get a workout in. Just kind of finished up the leftovers and the food we ordered for the last day or two. So yeah, that was kind of my day watching ball all day, and it's cool. Now they got it where you can watch the multi screens. And did any of you guys remember this when we used to have all the flat screen TVs, the old box TVs? And I had one TV that you could literally put about 20 some screens. Do you guys remember those kind of TVs? And it was like 20 little screens would come on, or you could just have so many screens. But I remember I had one TV, and my son loved it because it was like you could put all the cartoon channels, and I think back then it was like at least five or six, and he could hook it up where he could watch all the cartoon channels at the same time. So I want to see Mario Brothers movie that comes out April 5th. Every time I see the commercial, I just start humming the video game. I'm passing on that. I'm going to pass on Shazam. I'm not going to see Shazam. When I was in the movie theater the other day, they had the Shazam buckets and shit. $16 for a large popcorn. So you're really buying the Shazam stuff. So, but yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna see that. And I don't know if my daughter wants to see it either. It's kind of hard to say. She don't want to see it. I definitely don't want to see it. Picture in picture. Now the cable box does all that for you. Exactly. Yeah, it used to be multiple pictures in pictures. It really was multiple pictures in pictures. So that was what was fun about that old. What are those TVs called? I'm trying to think of what they were called. They're projection TVs. That's right. Old projection TVs used to do that. Those old projections, and you could get all the little pictures and pictures on the projection. Yep. Shazam 2 is trash. Don't do it. That's yeah. I saw that through the. I could see that through watching just watching the promos, and through seeing the promos, I knew it wasn't something I was gonna go see. I wasn't gonna go see it. So yeah, Shazam 2 only made 30 million. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. If I do go see it, I think we've got up to like four more free movie tickets. So if I go see it, it'll be because movies have to be there 2 weeks. So it'll be here this week, next week, and if it's not doing well, it'll be here the week after. So I might see it then. But other than that, the only thing that interests me is just the way the gods relate to this Shazam compared to Black Adam. And it's a shame that Black Adam won't continue. I think that's they didn't like all that. They don't like the melanin. The strong melanin in the movies. So that's why they killed that. Uh, um, my mama had one that was a big screen where I could put a split screen and watch two shows at one time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had the split screens. It's more mediocre and basic super movie with superhero. Okay, I'm not surprised at that. Yeah, but it was one TV that like I had that where you could do the picture in picture, but you could do the like 20 little pictures. It was like whatever. I'm trying to think. It might even been more than 20 because it was like it just filled up with little squares, a little little shows. It filled this whole screen up. So say your projection was 60 inches, you got six whatever that 60-inch could fit on the amount of channels you had. I forget, but it seemed like it was 20 some that you could watch. And it was real cool, watching football because, you could watch all the football games on one little screen. So, but you remember how those projections was? You had to have couldn't have the sun in a certain way. If y'all remember that, having those old TVs. But I had a lot of those old projection TVs. They'd come out one better almost every other year, so I'd be done snatched it. I remember I had the big 50-inch tube. It took like four of us to carry that big heavy ass box up to I think I lived upstairs at the time. A 50-inch tube. Do y'all remember those? When the tubes was 50 inches? How big that TV was. I mean, that TV, the face of it was just monster. And that had to be like in the 90s when I had that 50-inch tube. That had to been my son wasn't born, Brennan wasn't born yet, so that had to been like 92, 9 before I moved here to Minneapolis the first time. Cuz I moved here at first 94, 95. So yeah, I had a big tube, 50-inch tube TV. Y'all seen that shit? Well, because of The Rock's ego. Black Adam is the cosmic side of the villain character, and Shazam's arch villain. He didn't deserve his own film. I like what he did with it, though. I like what he did with it. I like that they made Hawkman a melanated person, and so I like what they say that motherfuckers don't like working with Rock, that he's a diva kind of guy, but I thought the premise was a good idea. And when he said that, that, I mean, that's, he tried, one thing they try to tell you, he says that, your magic is weak. And that's what, a lot of these bombs and a lot of this, even this stuff is all magic. It's not really technology. They make you think it's technology, but it comes from the tech god. So, it has to be some type of magic if it comes from a type of good or type of god, so. Black Adam should have been in Shazam 2 or 3 in his Justice League film against the heroes, Legion of Doom. Okay. I remember in the 90s, Mitsubishi had a 3-person theater, big ass screen set up. Oh, okay. 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 Hawkman was the best part. Yeah, I like the Hawkman too. I like the Hawkman. But that goes into, you look at where that character would have come from. That's kind of, they kind of took the Anunnaki with the wings and created the Hawkman. And understand what you're seeing nowadays. For most part, the baby boomers still rule the world. And what you see is you see a lot of baby boomers that read these comic books as children. Now the generations that are, the screenwriters and stuff that also, were into these comic books, you see them trying to put out, and the baby boomers have a soft heart for this stuff because again, they grew up, reading this stuff. The comic books peaked in the 60s. I mean, comic books was literally like you would get one, and then I think comics come out Tuesdays. Is that the new comic books still come out on Tuesdays? I know they used to come out on Tuesdays when I was into collecting them. And that was the last comic book I was collecting was Nam. I told the story when my ex-wife stole all my furniture. It wasn't our furniture, it was my furniture. Even though we was married, I had accumulated when we wasn't together. And she stole and pawned all my books. Yeah, my comics I saved from Nam. I had the whole set from Nam and a couple other ones. And I saw how much she got. She got like $50 for it. I go into the pawn shop and I see my bag. And I told the dude, I was like, look at the comics. I like look at all of them say cricket, don't they? Don't they say on the tag cricket where I bought them from? But he wouldn't tell me, who sold them to him and stuff. But I know it was her because she had them. She tried to say, oh, somebody stole them off my porch. The bullshit stories they try to tell. You could sit on it. Okay. You could sit on it. Okay. I get Generation X, and I have a deep love for these characters. Okay, I feel you. The art, the anime, the mangas. I mean, it's become its own culture. It's become its own, culture, and so that's what I love about my son. You look up his channel, Community Splash. He understands, the culture of the mangas and anime, and he's becoming quite an expert on it. So you guys want to look over their Community Splash channel if you're into anime. He is somewhat of a, that is some serious tobacco. Oh. But yeah, he's kind of a anime expert. For those of you that follow that and like that kind of thing. Yeah. So so I mean it's I mean what's great about it is it gets people to read too, and that's what's great about it. There's nothing wrong with people reading. People reading is a good thing. Reading keeps your mind active, and there's nothing wrong with studying and using your imagination. And so that's one part. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one part that I really admire about it because it is a way to use your imagination, and that's what we had. We had a lot of people, growing up in the '60s, people a little older than me, that through the comic books they were able to, um, use their creative talents through their imagination of growing up in these animes. And one thing that the anime gives you, it gives you all these possibilities. So, and through all these possibilities is all these probabilities show you that there's a way to work things out. So that's all I would say. The hero's journey. Well, yeah, yeah. The millennials are destroying everything that we love. I mean, that's on purpose. They're destroying everything we love on purpose and making these things bad on purpose. Yeah, but the hero's journey, like, again, yeah, yeah, and people love the hero's journey. Um, you read the Papa Vol and you read the Hero Twins and the journey that the Hero Twins had to go to finally defeat defeat the underworld gods, and then be left alone. But everything tells out a story. Like one story, the Hero Twins is when the Hero Twins they're ordered they're ordered by the gods to clear off this path, and so they want to farm through it. Well, the Hero Twins is lazy; they just want to play ball, and so they trick the animals to clearing out the little path to create a new ball field. And I mean that's how clever they are, because all they really want to do is just play ball, and so they trick the animals into clearing out the area so they can build their ball field. And so there's a lot of different journeys and different cultures that we can study and we can try to learn from. Um, you must be tripping, huh? Why are you tripping? Are you tripping or are you trolling? Are you tripping or are you trolling? But anyway, glad you're here. We are our own kings. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't put yourself first up in there, then what are you putting up there? What are you putting outside yourself? So you want yourself to be the greatest you that you can be. So that's all. Mm. So I don't know if you're tripping or not. I don't know if Amy, you're tripping or not. You came in last night, I remember. So welcome again. I don't know if I'm gonna go as long tonight because I'm a little tired and I got some shit to do in the morning. Mondays, daughter has baton, so I'll be picking her up a little early and taking her to do her thing. I'm new. Huh? I'm never a troll. I didn't think so. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was a couple trolls came in last night, but that's okay. So, but welcome, and welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the people that have come in. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you take the time to see old man just muttering and uttering. I appreciate it. So thank you for coming in. But yeah, I like to, I study a lot of things that help with the creative process. I am DC all the way. Fuck Marvels. My favorite character of all time was really Flash. I like the possibility of Flash. Superman was too much like a ghoul, like a god, whereas Flash wasn't really like that. But yet he had all the powers, again, of moving through space time, and not really being fully. Um, being able to manipulate space time like very few others could manipulate it. And then he always wore the ring, where the suit came out of the ring. And so I think that was the first comic book that I would buy every Tuesday was The Flash. And I think I started buying those. Must be like 69, 70 is when I really started reading a lot of The Flash. And then because I can remember the prices when I first started buying comic books, they were 10 cents. And then when they went up, because comic books, I've talked about this before. Comic books and candy bars matched each other. So at first, the candy bars were 10 cents, and so were the comic books. So it's like, you wanted a comic book or a candy bar. You had a dime. You kind of was no tax, I think, for that. And then they went up to 15 cents, and people were kind of mad, and people were really pissed when comic books and candy bars both went up to a quarter. People were pissed. I mean, people really kind of protested when everything like that. When the candy bars went up to a quarter and comic books went up to a quarter, people were really, they tried to blame recession and all that. But, uh, but yeah, yeah. Flash is my top five. I remember when they came out with the TV show. Yeah, remember the old TV show. Now I don't know if you remember this or not, but the first Flash, there was a guy that invented the way they filmed it. You remember the old Flash where they had the camera in his face and he was moving kind of fast? I can't remember. There was a guy that won a game show. He did that technology. That filming was his filming that they used later in the first Flash series. The way they had the camera in front of him, the way he was moving fast. That was a guy, and he won. There was some show that they did videos back then, and this guy, he won that show. And later they used his technology in that first Flash TV show, if you can remember that. I don't quite remember. Those remember what year that was. Ah, DC Comics heroes are like gods. That's the difference between them and Marvel. Marvel was always second to DC. DC was older too, though. Was it DC Batman? You had Batman and you had Superman. And it's an interesting story that the guys who gave Superman away, it was something like they got $200, $250, and I remember in the '70s they were trying to give them some of their rights back, and I think they finally settled. But Superman made $1 billion, and here they sold their rights away for something like $200, which it was probably $200 back when they signed the rights away to it in the '30s, '20s, '30s. $200 was a lot back then, but they didn't see what it was going to turn into one day. They didn't see that it was going to turn into something special one day. So I remember in the 1990s, John Wesley Shipp was actor, $1 million an episode. The Flash, okay. CBS, John Wesley Shipp was the actor, 1 million. Wow, wow. The one I remember was the '90s. I liked that show. It was in the '90s. Yeah, it was. But yeah, that technology. I remember that guy won. It was some show, and I wish I could remember what the show was. Grab some more water. I came prepared. I've got more water. So, September 1990, The Flash premiered on CBS. Only one season. It was in the same universe as Michael Keaton's Batman 1989. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, but I wish I could remember because the dude who invented the filming or that type of video, I remember he did it in like a silver outfit, and then of course later they put it to the Flash outfit. Yeah, Jeffrey, it was on CBS. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Again in the '90s. Yeah, I was a grown nigga. I was like 29, going into my 30s in the '90s. I turned 1991. I turned 30, right? Yeah, 61. Yeah, I turned 30 in '91. So, or 30 and 8. Yeah, '91. Turned 30 in '91. So I was still a hell of a hooper. Shit, at 35, I could still go. Told y'all the last year I lived in Michigan. Well, the last year I played semi-pro before I moved out of Battle Creek. So that must have been '05. In '05, I averaged like the semi-pro game, 30 games, I averaged like 25 a game. And then and then in the tournament, I hit a layup. I hit a game-winning layup. I had a game-winning layup. And I've told that story before. I rode with a guy. My friend Jeff picked me up, and he was on the other team. And he was just telling me the whole way we're driving there. He's telling me the whole way how he's just going to stop me and everything he's going to do to stop me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So the end of the game, we're down one with the ball. And so I always took the ball out. And it's funny. It's funny dudes who don't like pressure. It's really funny dudes like pressure. None of the my teammates wanted the ball. So I took it out. Um, And we called a timeout, and I was like, look, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna throw it to you. And so we're coming from timeout, and the guy I rode with, Jeff tells everybody, he's like, look, he's going to drive hard to the baseline, and he's going to spin back in the middle. And he said, you motherfuckers better be waiting for him in the middle. And so, sure enough, I get the ball with about 11 seconds left. And because Jeff, he's taller than me, but he's not strong as me. And so I do go hard baseline. I mean, I just go hard baseline. And Jeff knows if he doesn't cut off the baseline, it's an easy basket. Behind him is 6'8 Joe. So Joe starts to slide down. And as soon as I get them both leaning, I spin off and I'm in the middle. And I kind of, when I jumped, I kind of did some shit like this. And I flipped it like straight up because the ball was still kind of here as I like jumped to kind of get away from people, and I just flipped it up, and that fucker caught the lip of the rim and went in, and yeah, and had to go home with Jeff, and so he bought me dinner because it was like that was one of the bets that he would get dinner, and then I got my big trophy on dinner, and I'm talking shit to him. And he's like, I can't wait to get the fucking away from you. But Jeff was my guy. Yeah, wow, I thought it was a little later in the '90s, like '91 or '92. It was a very advanced piece of technology back then because each episode of The Flash was $1 million. That was the most expensive show at the time, and that's why they couldn't continue to make it. Yeah, I wish I could remember the guy because that filming was I don't remember, but that filming technique that they used in The Flash, I remember it was some other show because The Flash wasn't the first time they showed that. It was this other guy, and when he whatever it was, and he showed it, and he did his clip. The clip was he was wearing silver, and it was the same stuff that was used in The Flash show. So I can't remember that guy's name, but he was the one that obviously they bought his technology. He was the one that they bought his technology and used it. To be honest, WB was stupid. They could have made a Flash movie with the same amount of money they spent with 13 episodes. That's a good point. But TV, has those ads, and that's what they look for is just ads. You did the reverse Jordan layup. Well, I really reversed because when I spun back, I was like in the front of the rim. And so like I kind of had to like double clutch it a little bit to get because when I spun back, I spun and took a step. And when I jumped, I kind of had to double clutch it. And so I'm like standing like right under the rim, but it was like I had to flip it up with a spin on it to get, just to where I was. And I put so much spin on it where, I barely, because I actually kind of finger rolled it up, but I just flipped it. So, when it was spinning so hard where it caught that lip and the lip took it in. So, and then the next year, I was averaging 30. We had played 10 games. I was averaging 30 a game, and the guys wouldn't pay. It was 10 teams, and me and another team was the only one that paid 10 games. And so that league was cut because everybody wouldn't pay. Have you watched The Last of Us? I have not watched The Last of Us yet. That doom and gloom shit don't appeal to me. Um, I don't know, guys. It just that doom and gloom shit don't appeal to me. I mean, how many doom and gloom stories can they keep telling us? So I don't know. I don't know, guys. That stuff um doesn't really appeal to me. Not really. So I mean, I imagine one time I'll sit because it's hard for me to sit and watch things recorded. Now I know I am a big movie guy, but that's more movies. Like just to sit here and watch a series, it's just hard for me to do that. So excuse me. So no, I haven't watched that yet. Cause I got a thing when I'm at home, like even doing this, when I'm sitting downstairs or I'm sitting up here meditating, I get up every 15, 20 minutes. I can't sit for too long. It's not that good. You're not missing anything, believe me. I watched the first two seasons, and it's like agenda shit. So I watched the first two seasons of Flash. And then after the first two seasons, I lost interest. It was like Yellowstone. I watched Yellowstone up to this year, but then it was like the shit just I don't like watching shit where my intelligence is challenged. And Yellowstone this season challenged my intelligence. It was like stupid beyond stupid. And I just can't continue or support just stupid. So Yeah, The Walking Dead is better in my opinion, and I never really got into that other than the first season. I watched The Walking Dead the first season, but I never watched it after that. So I don't know. That kind of stuff just doesn't appeal to me. Not enough to watch it every week. Doesn't appeal to me enough to watch it every week. They were. Where is it at? Find it. Here we go. This Aaron Rodgers stuff is just unbelievable. Then they're telling jokes that oh okay so they're telling jokes about the difference between you had Brett Favre all those years, then you had Rodgers all those years. Then Love's going to be the next quarterback of the Packers, but yet Rodgers is going to take the exact same route that Brett Favre. Now, can that be a coincidence? I mean, that can't be a coincidence. I mean, it just can't be. I mean, and again, we see a sports mocking. Now, I also heard today they talking about Lamar Jackson might end up the Vikings might make a deal to get Jackson in and might give him that money. Um, we'll see. We'll see. But it just a lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So one more thing I wanted to talk about. Did you guys see Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon was. Did y'all catch the XFL game where Josh Gordon was mad at his quarterback, so he didn't try to catch the ball. The quarterback threw an interception, and him and Josh Gordon. Then the motherfucker was like, "Bench Josh, take Josh out the game." They was winning anyway, and the quarterback threw a pass because Josh did not go after it at all, and made the quarterback throw interceptions. Did y'all catch that shit with Josh Gordon? It's like they won't give Josh Gordon a break. Uh, Says furthermore, genetically predicted higher plasma caffeine concentration was associated with a lower risk of diabetes too. Approximately half the effect of caffeine on type 2 diabetes liability was estimated to be meditated through BMI reduction. So, what it says is caffeine in your blood could affect body fat and diabetes risk. But caffeine is also one of the greatest things. Coffee has so many great risks. I know AM1, I've been trying to find the green coffee AM1 was talking about. I haven't been able to find it. But that's why, exercise, activity. That's why, I know if you're like here, this is the most you'll see me sitting. Like even during the games, I'm always getting up. I'm always getting up and doing something. Yeah, it says previous studies have linked a moderate and relatively increase in caffeine consumption to a better health and a lower BMI level. So, so coffee could be good and bad at the same time. But to me, I think a lot of the things, the good outweighs the things. If Lamar doesn't stay with the Ravens, I love for him to be at Niners. Um, both got one ring. Yep, they both got one ring. And as I said last night, they were never going to let either Favre or Rodgers pass Bart Starr. That was out of question. They were not going to let either one of those cats pass Bart Brett Bart Starr. So neither one of them got close to being as good as Bart Starr. Not really. Now, would Brett Favre make Hall of Fame player? Absolutely. But you got one-time Super Bowl winner. Bart Starr was a two-time Super Bowl winner, three-time. It's pitiful. I can't even lift my finger up. Three-time. There we go. I can do it in this hand. Three-time. He's a three-time NFL champion. So, Siova, what's happening, man? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. I watch your videos a lot, to try to get all this stuff going. So, and the thing that you really said that impressed me the most It was like when you upgrade and buy more of the equipment, do you have, is what you're putting out there worth the equipment that you put out there? And I was very impressed by that saying. So, I hold you in high regard. Definitely hold you in high regard. And I'll say I was trying to get this facility to shoot a movie and kind of fell through. And you were going to be one of the first people I was going to try to put on budget. So, but yeah, I'm trying to find another place. But this place, it was just the perfect place. But, you try things and you try things, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So all you can do is try. That's why I don't bust them out and talk about them that much. It's like, I got this going on, and I got people in positions that can do things. And so this is the budget I got, and this is what I can start cutting into people. And I don't do that until, that money, I see the money. So we all, have, I think I talked about this last night. We all have creative debt. We all come up with these great ideas. So, yeah, exactly that. I have a 4K camera making $50 content. Don't have a 4K camera. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because I know my son, if you watch his channel, Community Splash, he has a very good camera. But his content is outstanding in his subject matter. So, but yeah, I watch a lot of your stuff. What do I think about the Knicks? The Knicks. I don't think people realize that the Knicks are the top franchise in the world. I mean, far as its value and its worth, and so So the Knicks sell out regardless if the team is good or not. It benefits television and it benefits the media world to have the Knicks be successful. And I think I've watched the Knicks on national games no less than 8 to 10 games. So they've been on the national scene a lot more this year. And what did they win? 8, 9 in a row. And so they look to be pretty solid. They have a Brunson. I know he missed a couple games, but I think he should be back. But Randall, I love Randall. He reminds me of Truck Robertson. Probably not quite as Truck Robertson was probably a better shooter. Randall's not. He's okay shooter. Chuck Robertson, Adrian Dantley, but that's the kind of game I like. That game, But he was nowhere. He has nowhere near the Bernard King kind of. He doesn't have that short game. Bernard King probably, arguably, had one of the best short games of anyone. I mean, Muggs scored back-to-back 60 games, and I don't mean 60 get fouled. I mean 60 put work on people. Bernard King was a bad man, and he had a bad knee. Bernard King scoring 60 on one knee. So I think the league benefits when New York has a strong team. So yeah, so I think they're gonna have a nice little ride in the playoffs. Speaking of rings, Big Pontiac, what do you think about the significance of rings? Rings in sports, Lord of the Rings, wedding rings. Do rings have a civilization other than looks? Well, like if you take the wedding ring, and the reason why it's put on this finger, there is a nerve that goes all the way to your heart from this finger. So that is the significance of putting on this. Now, the other significance of the ring was, remember things had to have a seal. So you had to put a seal. So the king or someone representing the king would have the king's seal, and he would put the seal on a ring. So it comes from that as well, the seal. And graduation. When you graduate, you get a ring. One of the most prized things of the Vietnam War was when a Viet Cong or a North Vietnamese soldier could kill a person from West Point and get his ring. That was very prized for them, that they would kill because you'd come in a first lieutenant or even a captain sometime in Vietnam. And I know that was heavily prized by, the North Vietnamese Army and even the Viet Cong, is getting a ring from a person from West Point. And so we go back to the championships. So I don't know where it really came from, because you just look back, and you can go back into the 30s and 40s. You see that they were giving out rings for sports even then. You can even look up gosh, it's a site where you can buy championships rings. I've seen. I had a chance where I could have bought an Eagles 1960 it was NFL championship ring, Eagles NFL championship ring, and at the time it was only $200 or $300. No, it was like no, it was about 2,000 at the time. So Wes Matthews, I saw his championship ring when he played with the Lakers. But the history of why the rings, I don't know. I have to do a little deep diving, but that's just some things off the top of my head why rings are so important. Now the other question is, is it a kind of spell? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because if you think about all the effort that it takes to win a championship, and all the games played, and all the energy, that all that energy is symbolized in one ring, like it or not. When they look at that given season, all the energy from that season is tied up into one ring or one trophy. That's kind of the other outlook of it. So Knicks need to be at least needed to be at least make it to the second round. Yeah, I think the NBA is going to let them make it to the second round. It benefits the NBA. It benefits the media world when we have a good team out of LA and we have a good team out of New York. And the Knicks, you see how they're more defensive minded. They have more defensive minded coach who's a great actor. I love the way he acts during this game. He was here and got to see him act a lot. So I think they're going to let them. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the semis. So yeah, second round and a little further. I am a Knicks fan in Mississippi and very happy the way they are playing this year. I'd be happy with us winning the playoff series, but I don't see us going further, unfortunately. Reptilians, it's always reptilians. Thanos and Rings of Power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That could be an element of it too. Um, so but it's just it's funny, the Dolan family, they're the ones that came up with HBO, and that's how they got all their money. And then this Junior Dolan, he gets the Madison Square Garden. That's a hell of an inheritance to get Madison Square Garden, get the Knicks, and get the Rangers. That's a hell of an inheritance. So that's generational wealth. And just like I'm wearing this jersey, if the Negro Leagues really could have, if they could have held off and the brothers just said we're not going to play with them, the Negro Leagues would have started getting TV contracts. If they could have held off to 1960 and kept at least 8 to 10 solid teams, they probably could have got into a TV contract, which they could have been, absorbed. You'd had all black teams absorbed instead of just one or two players. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Um, the finals will be the Clippers and the 76ers. Could be, could be. The Warriors are really shifting the bed this year. But they still like the Warriors. We're gonna see what's gonna come up with Wiggins. They're all pretty beat up. And so that's the thing, is this a rest year? Because that's what they do is when dudes need a rest year, they don't win the championship. And that's what I'm thinking about with LeBron. I think right now they're looking at the deal that's going to get rid of Anthony Davis to get him someone that's more going to be more consistent. I mean, I would have never made that deal for Anthony Davis. That young core they had out there, Anthony Davis wasn't the answer, but they got the fake title down in the bubble, like Lobo always says, and that's kind of real. That was kind of some BS down there. Ah, uh, if you watched Tom Cruise movie Oblivion with Morgan Freeman, they perfectly show that you're in MI as AI space controlling all humanity. So it's funny. It's the My. It is the My. Yes, they would have had Zion indeed. But yeah, it's the My. It's actually, yeah, indeed, it's the My. I know we hate to name something, but the changer is Yadaboa. If that's the changer, and that goes into divine Sophie. So it does put some blame on the female aspect of it too, for the female controlled it. So you get into Sophie, you get into the Gnostics works, and Sophie. They call the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is really the divine Sophie. So that divine spirit has to take blame for creating this thing.
And then, however, the Mai came here because the Mai comes from somewhere else. It didn't originate on Earth, it came from somewhere else. And we see too many things. We really do see too many things that show us that this thing can't always be real. So that's and that should take away stress from you. And stress of all this stuff, all this fear. You can't breathe the air. You can't eat the food. You know, you might get hit in the car. You might get jacked if you take the bus. All these kind of fear programs. They deployed it in the movie too. Dubs make no sense on the road. Oh yeah, they can't win on the road. Clay Thompson, I tell you what, I studied him for the last 2 years, and he's of a person injured for 2 straight years. Remember, Grant Hill never really came back. Never really came back. Grant Hill almost died. He had so many surgeries. Um, Thompson has come back a lot stronger player. Now, Grant Hill, now I'll say this. When Grant Hill came back into the league, what was he? He could play defense. And Grant Hill was still 6'8", but he could play defense. He would take the top defender. When he, those first few years he came back, when he came back with Orlando, came back with Phoenix, he was nowhere near the player he once was, but he was good enough. Offensively, he didn't have it anymore. I mean, at one time, Grant Hill was closer to Jordan than Kobe because Grant Hill was 6'8" and could handle the ball. And so if there was a more of a copy of Jordan, it was more Grant Hill than Kobe because he was more dominating because he was taller. Grant Hill's 6'8". Mike's what, 6'5". Kobe a little taller. Kobe's about 6'6" or 6'6 and a half, or he was. So, you know how you mess with how that Indiana pick out. I know you. I got you mess with you. Oh yeah, Indiana didn't pick out at all. Yeah, yeah they didn't, and that's just how you just you go and you try to just put your own idea. Because I always put Michigan State Final Four. I don't care. Michigan State every year Final Four, and so that might work out for me. But yeah, Indiana did not work out for me, which I was surprised. But again, that might be the punishment for Woodson. I mean, Woodson did win a game or two. He won one game. Indiana won one game, maybe. So that's good. That's good. That helps his program. Good guy. Woodson's a good guy. I watched him play. I think he's a year or two older than me, or a year or so younger. But I watched him play in college and watched his career. So happy to see him there. Mm. I think they won 4 games on the road this year. That's what Lorenzo says. That's right, Amy. I wonder if my favorite player actually tore his Achilles if he ever win again. Well, the thing with Achilles, I've tore my Achilles, and really, if I didn't have the surgery, the second surgery to remove whatever they removed out of my calf, I would have been. It would have only taken me about. It wouldn't have taken me a year, but because I had the second surgery, it actually took me about a year to walk. But most guys come back a lot quicker. So they tear, they tear their Achilles. It's a lot quicker, and the technology is better and better all the time. There's not a lot that they can do. Like you had what was the brother's name? Played with Portland. He didn't have any meniscus in his knees because the old way when he was in high school, the old way they did it, if you had meniscus trouble, they would actually literally cut meniscus out your knee and then try to make it strand and make it smooth in there. I can't think of that brother's name. I can picture him though, but that was what his issue was, and you just have bone on bone. And that brother, if you guys remember this, that brother used to get this gel they could put to give you a fake meniscus while you played. Can you imagine that? They shoot some gel shit in your knee. The geometry shows that the Suns will beat the Bucks in the finals if they match up again. The Suns will beat the Bucks. The Suns haven't won it yet, and I don't know. I just don't know if they're going to let the Suns win. Just I would say it's doubtful. They just really don't like new champs. They really don't, and I think that goes with apparel, marketing. They just do not like new teams to win it. So, what is the last new team? The last 2 new teams to win an NBA were the Mavericks in Miami. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to let them win it. They tend not to like that. So we'll see. We'll see. We will see. Mm. Hey, I was saying Kansas looks how they turned out. Yeah, yeah. But every year it's Michigan State to the Final Four every year. It's like wherever they is, I pick them to win every year out of the Final Four. So that's just my sentimental pick. And I didn't buy two papers this year. USA Today did not have a physical paper in there, and I didn't. It wasn't that I wanted to be cheap, but I just couldn't see the point of just spending $6 to just get two of these. And I just didn't take the time to make a copy once I got home. Hell, I got a copier in here. I have some subjects you looked into. Had you truly amazed? If yes, what subjects? Have some subjects you looked to have me amazed? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before. When I first got the time walking papers, it not comprehending it, but it was like once I opened that up, it kept, and it's what this will do. This system, once you tap into something, the system will kind of all is revealed. And so, like, this revealed so much more to me. So, yeah, the time walking papers, I would say, changed my life. It opened up a world to me that I didn't even know that these energies were for us at all. So, yeah, absolutely. Um, and the more I study, the more I get amazed. You know, it's like I give up on books. I'm like, this book ain't shit. I quit reading it. My brother's like, no, you got to keep getting in these books. Keep reading them because it might be something in it. And a lot of times that turns out to be true. There's something in it. But yeah, the time walking papers, I would say that thing because it opened up all the technology that is in the Americas. Um, opened all that up to me. And so it is the time walking papers definitely related to the energies of the America. So yeah. That's what yeah, that's what amazed me. That truly amazed me. Is there a dome over us? You believe the thought the use of a Stargate used to be sort of cheat to get out, or maybe we can get out, but we don't have access to the technology. Well, what we have access to is one of the oldest things in the world. Two of the oldest things in the world are consciousness and melanin, and we can use both of those things to be in our higher conscious. Melanin is one of the things that helps with higher consciousness, and so you can tap into that, and that's anybody. I mean, there's dark folks. That's anybody because melanin is all of us, and so you use the consciousness and the melanin to tap into things, and you truly can become more and more aware of what's really going on in this world. So, did the stream die? Doesn't appear so. It doesn't appear so. I didn't think I said anything too deep tonight. Looks like it's still going on. So, looks like it's still going on. Oh, never mind. Okay. What time is it? Oh, okay. I might be able to get another hour. I'll see. If I'll be able to get another hour, I do need to get a little sleep tonight. I didn't get very much sleep today at all. At all. Watch games, got up, watch games, drank coffee, made sure my daughter was straight. And so, and then, my fiance is still sick. No, sir, you did not. Thank you. Thank you. So my fiance is still sick, so she got a day of rest, rest and relaxation. We didn't do nothing and just watch games all day. Hell, I didn't even shave. Do nothing. I had one beer left, so drink that beer earlier today. Shoot, been taking these edibles. I got stronger ones. These is, But yeah, just was showing, this kind of stuff has opened up to me. What the meaning of this and how this is used. They don't, I'm the only one who really tells what these helmets are for. These helmets. These helmets is a spiritual thing because they represent the hero twins. That's why they wear these helmets. That's why the leaders wore these helmets. It's a representation of the spiritual hero twins. And you see here and there, you see the chin straps and everything. And right here in the middle of the bigger ones, you see what ends up being a face mask. The early face mask is right here. You see that little square right there between his eyes? That's actually a face mask. The early first face mask. So that's what this represents. So, And through the if the time walking papers would have never put me in that direction, then I would have never caught on to any of this. But this if you look at how things are given to us, I did read Van Sertima's book. They came here from before Columbus, and then what's interesting is what was it, National Geographic? So Van Sertima's book comes out, and he had these mugs scrambling. He had them scrambling. Now all his information ain't right, but when he talked about them heads, they were scrambling because they ain't talked about this. Like you, I have the oldest book. I have the first book that talks about the omen, the Omeka. And they known about this stuff since, well, the first time they found it, they didn't even know what it was. Somebody found the first were baby. They didn't even know what this stuff was. It was like, this is something we don't even know. And so later when another dude finds it around 1890 something, they was like, hey, this is something different. And then around turn of the century, they when they came across the heads, but even other things, even before the heads, it was like, so anyway, Van Sertima books come out, National Geographic. All of a sudden, they showing a thing about they scrambled. They had to scramble. So National Geographic then comes out with a thing of all the omen sites. Ah. I had some flour that made me think about life Saturday morning. There you go. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to get some flour, turn it into hash, and put it in my bong. And just because I can't do a blunt. That shit is so hard on my lungs. I got to have some ice. So that's what I'm going to end up having to do. My guy says he's going to, I'm going to see him sometime this week. So if he has some more of that wax, because I prefer wax. I like the wax with the bong. Because, like, you hit the wax, it keep you good, and you go out and have some of these edibles, between to keep it going. So that's a cool way to keep it going. uh, that sick bug has made its rounds. Um, her aunt was sick, and, we take, my great nephew. So we take him, and she was sick, so he lived with her. So he goes to all the games with us. He's not going Tuesday because he's going to be in school. We're not going to take him out of school just to take him to the game. But so he's the one that got her sick. See, the thing with me is I take the allergy kind of medicine anyway to keep me from my nose running, sniffing, and snorting anyway. So I take that kind of stuff anyway. But she's got something a little bit in her chest, so it's kind of breaking up. So yeah, so that's kind of been her day today. And then we're going to the game on Tuesday. So see how they do. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I'm glad that it hasn't hit me because I sleep next to her. So but just lucky that hasn't really hit me. No more than just occasional sneezing and stuff. But we need winter needs to take a break. And we're supposed to get rain and more snow this week. So we'll see. I'm kind of had it with winter. I'm ready to go outside for a little while. When I see them pictures popping up back in 11 and 12, it was 80 degrees this time of year. And we still wearing, I had to wear my big ass parka the other night. I mean, that's how cold it's been. And last night was freezing. I mean, it was still, 7, 8 degrees. I mean, it's just to show you guys the turnaround from last night. It is 32 degrees now. So last night it was 8 above. And this week, it's supposed to be 38, 40. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to snow on Wednesday, but 38. 38, 40, 42, 51. I mean, it's still mild. It's not really spring weather. But the lows are still 22, 24, 31, 22. Friday is going to be a low of 18, so probably Thursday, Friday morning, 26, 30. So at night, we still got these cold-ass temperatures. I saw Dwayne Wade's son playing with Kobe. That shit was crazy. Okay. Where can I learn about the time walking papers? I might have to do a special about them because I don't really have permission to share them. I got them from the Lenape, and they really frown on sharing them. So I'll just have to teach about it. So that's the only way I could really give it out. It's only so much of it I can give out. I don't talk about a whole bunch, but there's only so much I can give it out, and I can't share them. I've only given them to one person. As a matter of fact, I've tried to send them to people, and people are like, well, I haven't got them. So yeah, I don't have permission to give them out. But they didn't say I couldn't teach about it. So I have to, just put like a little class together of how to give so the information of it I could give out, and then how to go forward with it, because it's no good just to get the information. You have to know how to go forward with it. So that's what I'll try to put together. I'll try to put together a little class. People are interested in it. But there's so many other books. Gosh, I don't even have the books right here. But there's so many other books that Jose Aguirre's, his book is really, really great. I don't know where it is behind me, but that's his series of books is also a great way to get into, not quite the time walking information, but how to tap into the Mayan calendar, how to tap into the hero twins, how to tap into the sacredness of the ball game. This is other information that's not in the time walking papers. That's very useful to me, in one's spiritual journey. So, and that's what it's helped me. It's helped me spiritually. That's why I show so much of the faking of sports, because it's not just competition to me. It's almost like a religion. And through me playing it from hell, I played my first T-ball game at 5 years old. I remember I was 5 years old. They bought me a whole uniform and everything. And maybe I was maybe 7. I'm not sure, because we had moved. I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, it's probably second going in third when I played my first game. So I've been playing sports. Wasn't until really that I quit really playing semi-pro until 6, 7. So I was in my 50s, well, late 40s then. So active all my life. So that's the best answer I could give you. I'll try to put up a curriculum, and then ways to move forward with it, because that's what it is. It's the ways to move forward with it. And it's even some things that and I've talked about this truly. One thing that the time walkers require is to align with the Moors. And as hard as I've tried to align with the Moors, I just have not found nothing but dirty Moors, where there's always some kind of gimmick, always some kind of scam. And I ain't got to say no names. Y'all have watched long enough. There's other bigger Moors out there, bigger channels, one specifically. But, I know where, directly this dude did he scam people. So. And it was funny reading some information. They were talking about that the Moors captured all of Europe, and they captured Europe for 1,600 years, or 800 years, and that is not exactly true at all. The Moors only owned pockets. They never controlled all of Spain. You can't look at Spain and say because it wasn't even called Spain. It's like they never controlled Aragon. And that was Fernando's capital, I think was called. I think he came from Aragon, and Isabella came from another part. I can't think of the name. I ain't got the book in front of me. I'd have to get it. So they didn't control those areas. And they got beat. Was it the other Charlemagne that beat the Moors as they tried to go into France? Or they say they defeated Islam and the Turks, but actually it was Moors involved in that as well. So, now, did they have a good influence on Spain and parts of Europe with the universities and stuff? Some of the first universities in Spain? Yeah, they did do that. You give them the credit for that and some of their beautiful artwork. But just to say that the Moors just once was the dominant force in Europe, that never happened. And the time walkers did help the Moors defeat, because what they call it in the time walking papers, they call it that they defeated the old Roman Empire. That's what they say the Moors defeated. But if you look up history books, they say, they actually say that the old Roman Empire or the Catholic Church was defeated by Napoleon. If y'all ever look that up. That Napoleon defeated the old Catholic Church or the Roman Empire. But the time walking papers talk about that. That's who's the Moors did defeat them. So, Have you watched the Americas and Egypt series on YouTube? I have not. I have not. Um, this is the part where, again, as we talk about the sacred ball game and we talk about what was shared and what wasn't shared, it's obvious that the pyramid was shared. The pyramid building of the Americas was shared with people in Kemet, people in Nibia. Even you look at a ziggurat that from the Sumerians is somewhat pyramid like. If you look at the ziggurats in Sumeria, and so we know that there was intelligence that was shared out of the Americas, more than likely through the Omen or the Olmec, but they did not share the secret ball game. And there are no ball fields in Africa. There are no ball fields in India. There are no ball fields in Europe, Russia. They're only here. And that's the difference in the culture right there. So all those try to say that they came out of Africa and came to America. Well, how is this that we count differently? We have different calendars, our own complete calendar that has always operated and still operates. Ain't got to be like a pope comes in and changes the calendar, or a Caesar comes in and changes the calendar. It ain't like that. It's the same calendar. It's been running. It's like 3 or 4 calendars. And so there was a part that they did not share. They shared the other technology, but they didn't share those. So, what time is okay? Drinking all this water. I gotta pee. I think the channel is UB. He was doing work on the Black Boule as well. Yeah. No, I'll repeat this every day. I really think back and was impressed looking. I was going through some papers of my great grandfather's and seeing his draft card from World War II, because again, he was too old by the time World War II. He was in mid to late 40s, I think, in World War II. So he was way too old to go. Yeah, because my grandmother was in her 30s, I think, during World War II. So my grandfather definitely was too old to fight. But when they, as I said last night, when they put his occupation, he was able to put self-employed. But yet his son, and then my mother complaining and my uncles complaining about working on the farm. Yeah, it's hard work, but you work for yourself. You work for yourself. So to me, I would rather work for myself. UBTV. Okay, I'll check it out. UBTV. I can remember that. Thank you. I will check it out, Mr. Shock. Thank you very much. Well, you guys give me a second. I do have to pee. So you give me a hot second and I'll go pee. Of course. Show that people talking about you can get a virtual reality baby, not the baby in the keychain, but a baby that will blink up. You like wake up in the morning, or you could even have the Alexa, connected to the baby, and the baby's crying, and you get up in the middle of the night and you turn on whatever, and it blinks the baby in your arm, and you feed this little motherfucker. Can you imagine having to do that shit, and the little baby has virtual reality shitted? That motherfucker would cry forever. I'm like, little virtue motherfucking baby, you ain't nothing wrong with you. Your ass ain't itching. That shit ain't itching you. Yeah. I guess they're considering that. You could raise a little motherfucker in the virtual world. But I'll admit this, I didn't like shit all up the back. I mean, that was some bogus stuff to be out and the baby shits all up the back, and you take other outfits, but this is just like a gross thing to look at. I always wanted to learn how to salsa. I always wanted to learn how to salsa. I had a couple of people teach me a little bit. Why is everything going up? It's called inflation. I say depression. I say we're pretty much. It's funny. I shut the door behind myself because, well, my dog. I normally, I'm like everybody. Well, normally when it's just the two of us, I'm here and we I don't, I keep the door open. I just pee with the door open, not because I forget. But when my daughter's here, I have to, I have to remember. I have to remember. Okay. I have to remember that she's here. So I don't, I did. So I shut the door and I was like, shit, she ain't even here. So, oh yeah, I had to have something comfortable, man. I couldn't do this without having a comfortable chair. And they found this at a consignment shop, and so we went out there and it was like, yeah, I could use this. And then it has the lock, when you lean back. So yeah, so this is pretty comfortable. The gaming chairs just wasn't gonna do it for me. And so I've got other mics coming, other stands. So it's just it's still a work in progress. Um, I did not see Khalid. I did not see. I saw his oldest son, but I did not see him. So hopefully, I want to get Khalid up here and let him tell some of his stories. I don't know if I'm going to get to see Royce White or not because Royce, their team lost. Hopkins lost. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to get to see Royce. I should have talked to him when I saw him a couple of weeks ago when we were over there, but might catch him at the Target Center. So we'll see. But definitely, hopefully, to get Khalid up here and hear some of his stories because he won a national championship, and his son was hurt. His son hasn't played in a couple games. He hurt his ankle, and so his son didn't even play. And that's shit. That's like 15, 20 points right there that we're missing from his son. Son is great stealing the ball. It's just when he comes back, my only thing is he's gonna be rusty because he ain't played in 3 games. And the turnovers, rusty turnovers, might not have his shooting stroke yet, but so kind of hate that he's not playing because he was starting to hit his stride. He really was. So hopefully I'll see his dad. Didn't hear how far his dad team because Khalid coaches St. Mary's High School up here. Well, there's a couple St. Mary's, but he coaches the St. Mary's in the city. I think the other St. Mary's is St. Mary's Albertville or something like that. But he coaches St. Mary's in the city because they did not hire Khalid at his high school. He went to Boys High School. And for some reason, they did not hire him at his high school. And everyone, community was kind of upset. And so he was offered another job and he took it. So he's rarely at his son's games unless, because we had some makeup games because we had, the weather was so bad this past winter. We had a lot of games canceled. So yeah. So yeah, got a kind of exciting next couple days. If y'all understand that. How long have I been going? Okay, I can go a little longer. I heard snoring in another room, so my fiance's in there knocked out. But at least she's sleeping. Doesn't sound as congested. Stuff was kind of breaking up. And kind of glad I don't have it. So I guess the next thing I want to talk about is just how many people are comfortable just being by themselves. And like when you're by yourself, are you comfortable with your thoughts? Are you conscious of how thoughts come in? Like even like if you're just sitting in a room by yourself and you have the TV on, what you're hearing from the TV will start influencing some of your thoughts because the attachments from the TV will start coming in and playing a part in how you're thinking. You ever fall asleep while you're watching TV and you start the dreams? You start dreaming on shit you're hearing from the TV. A commercial will be in your dream and shit, and you're like, you're like really tripping in the dream, and then you're hearing this commercial. It's like, well, damn, I don't even want that shit. So why are you talking about that? But that's how it influences you. And of course, again, these electronics everywhere around us. So we have to, put protection up for that. So that leaves us alone. But be mindful of your thoughts and the thoughts that arise. Do the thoughts come out of fear? Like, how many of you know when ego kicks in? I mean, a lot of people get on me because I suppress the fuck out of my ego. And so, do you know when your ego kicks in? Or even when you hear people talking from the ego point of view? Are you able to recognize that when you hear a person talking and it's the ego? Like, oh, this motherfucker's all in his ego and shit. Well, there's ego talk. So these are things to recognize and recognize about yourself. Is it your ego? It's like you're talking about something, you're thinking about something, then the ego kicks in. Are you able to control and recognize that? And I know for young people, that might be kind of hard. Or even your emotions, which is separate from ego. Do you know when emotion thoughts come in and emotion behavior? I mean, the easiest way we see emotions is through children. We can see when the children are emotional. And most people want to point to when, people become emotional. It's generally, somewhat looked at as some ways as a female trait. Men aren't quite as emotional all the time as women are in some instances. And then are you talking out of anger? Are your thoughts coming out of anger? Your response is coming out of anger, because anger and ego love each other. They will feed each other all day. Because you're already, vibrating out of ego, and then you get angry. They're shit. That's a perfect combo. They're both like the ego is like, oh shit, okay, here come the anger. Yeah, let's give it to them. Man, you're able to control all that. Are you able to, first of all, recognize that? Like somebody say something to you, and what is your response? Like, what is your thought when you hear something? Do you hear one of these categories? Are you able to recognize that in your own thought pattern? And that goes back to when you sit by yourself. Because those same thought patterns can come just sitting by yourself. Because if something else is controlling you and moving through you, all these attachments, they start coming out when you're sitting by yourself. And you see how the thing, you'll sit there and you start clearing all this shit out, and then some distraction will come pop up. Your woman, the children, call. See, all trying to get you away from getting into yourself. Because I know many times I'll sit here and be deep into thought. I'm like, oh shit, I need to do this. So let me, quit breaking all this thought, all this quiet, and go do something. So I'm guilty of it at times too. But I think I've been around long enough where I recognize, what the proper response to the stimuli. And that's why when I'm alone, I think I can go so deeply into my consciousness. Because the Tsar, astral traveling, that all comes out of just the consciousness. That's the oldest thing that they know, or that we know. Because despite, if this is like Jeffrey said, do I think this is a dome? I think it's possibly that they could dome part of it. But consciousness goes into them trying to, that Atlantean theory of capturing this consciousness, capturing this spirit body and locking it inside of something that you can control with an illusion or a false world. That's the Atlantean. Motherfuckers want to put the Mayans with Atlantean. That's the Atlantean thought. Actually capturing spirit, capturing consciousness, and putting it into, they say, a crystalline body, but that ain't what they mean. It's the same as that Anunnaki stuff. To make something that you can control with illusion and distraction. So, and that's why it's important for you to take time to yourself, everybody. And that goes into, learning how to breathe properly and all that. And you ain't got to study yoga to do that, but it helps you. Controlling your breathing, controlling your thoughts. This helps you be stronger mentally. Now, what PJ say? I used to fall asleep to the AMC channel with the black and white movies and get great sleep. Now, I would tell you the best sleep as a child was watch a Chicago Cubs game. I grew up in Michigan where we got WGN, and I would turn on the Cubs. Like, I would be outside playing and come in and eat some lunch and take my siesta. And I was like, click, click. Back then I had to, get up and physically, my mother's cooking or watching my little brother at the time. My dad's a General Motors, so he ain't at the house. So summertime, I'm at the house and ain't nobody there. And I turn on the Cubs. And that was some of the best. That was back when Ernie Banks and shit was playing and Ferguson Jenkins. Yeah, they wasn't shit though. Cubs never won back then. So it was like the Cubs was the number one way to take a nap. uh, oh. But yeah, it's like I'll tell you a phenomenon that was when I went to college, and it's probably still a phenomenon is music is people playing the radio all night. And when I was in college, it was like you go to you'd go go to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. And almost every room you walk by, music playing out of it. And then I had studied in high school about subliminal messages that can be put through music and shit. And it was like you definitely don't want to sleep with music on all night, especially from a radio station. You don't want that because there's so many subliminal messages that can be sent while you're sleeping. And then it's like this can interfere into your realm. It starts melting into your realm. So I never understood that. I guess white noise. People wanted the white noise. But that was a phenomenon in college. Mm. Yeah. Like I know some people that sleep with their TVs on all night. Same thing. I understand white noise, but there's other noises you can put on now if you need that white noise. There's other things that you can put on if you need that. So, I mean, there's just many little things that we need to notice about us and our state of mind. I was about to say peace, but now I don't really want to part. But I mean, just yeah, enjoyment. Just being able to sit there and just be living in enjoyment. So, have I ever read the Covenant Papers? I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't sound. I'll have to look those up. Covenant Papers. I have not. They're deep reading. Okay. Send me something about that. So yeah, send me something about that, and I'll look it up. But the name doesn't ring a bell. The name doesn't really ring a bell offhand. Offhand, it doesn't. Yeah, offhand, it really doesn't sound like anything I'm familiar with. So yeah, I'm like 10 books behind. I'll send you. I'll send it. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm like 10 books behind. That's why I haven't bought any more books. I need to buy some more blood libel books because it's some shit I'm studying. But it's just like I've got like 10, like all those top books. Now some I've read once, and so I need to read them again. But most of these top books behind me, I haven't finished them. Some of them I've started, but I haven't finished them, and there's more than 10. So maybe I'm more than 10 behind. It's basically their manifesto. You know who I mean? Oh yeah, yeah, I know who you mean. That's why not all is revealed. It really is. That's one thing. I know people um, harp so much on free will, but I harp more on all is revealed. That's one thing they've had to do is all is revealed. So it's if you want to go out there and find it, it's out there to find. It's not hidden. I mean, especially as before the information age ends, because that's right. We're in the information age, and that's part of. See, the deal is they have to put it all out there because if they don't put it all out there, their magic won't work. Because in their minds, and kind of to feed off us a little more, they have to kind of put it out there. And I know that sounds odd, but that's the only way I can explain it. It's like they're almost to use us, to keep using us in the way they use us, they have to almost put all of this out there. but everybody don't want to know. You know, the truth will always have its day, and the truth never changes. So the truth is different from facts. So, oh, they say that in the papers I'm talking about. Yeah, the truth will always have its day. Well, yeah, and there's nothing, and they see, even though all is revealed, they destroyed a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of information destroyed. I mean, a lot of the cultures in America have been destroyed, which went into technology, which told the history of what was here. So a lot of that was stolen and captured and used. It makes you wonder what the Mormons have, because whatever that Smith dude or took out of those our mounds, whatever he called them gold plates, well, it was some type of technology that they hold. They found some kind of great wealth and some kind of great technology. And this is the only reason that saved them to go all across this Indian land and be allowed to slaughter the people, the Utes and the people there, and to have their own state. They are the only religion that really has its own state in this country. Them peoples ain't even really got their own state. But yet they do. So they hold some type of technology, some type of wealth that I don't think was being, they could, I'll say this, once the Mormons, whatever they captured, whatever old technology they found in those mounds, there was some kind of bond with them that these people couldn't take it away from them. Remember when Dorothy put on the red shoes and the witch tried to take off the shoes and the shit shocked them? There is something like that the Mormons have. There's some kind of, when they got this information, they were bonded to it some kind of way. And this bond protects them. And I want to say that, even this family stuff and these bloodlines, I think um, have something to do with it too, because they're looking to see who has what bloodlines. And so whatever technology has something to do with that as well. So the Mormons own all of them DNA bases like Ancestry 23. They own huge data servers just with people's datas. They are obsessed with lineage from what I read. Yeah. And but I think this goes around. I think this has something to do with what they found. And what they found probably gave them a little foresight into the people to beware, or the families to watch. Maybe they've made some kind of agreement as they see these bloodlines, and maybe they've made some kind of agreement with the U.S., the feds. And it's funny, we don't even think of the like every high school game, every college game, and pro games. Why does the Fed authority has to come in? I mean, what do we really have to do to ban that? So why should every high school event have federal authority put over it? And that's what the national anthem is. It's like it sanctions this event. Why? Like if you study the Civil War, and I've said this many times, the South had no problem with the northern states. It was the feds that they had the problem with. It wasn't the states, it was the feds. And the feds convinced the northerners with a lot of the slave propaganda, because the feds by themselves weren't that big. If the South was just of attacked D.C. and went to war just against D.C., the South would have won easily. The rest of the states would have stayed out of it, because it wasn't against the rest of the states. It was against the feds. And the feds tricked everybody to join them. They tricked the northerners to join them. And that's where the United States Corporation comes in. It was right after the Civil War, right after Reconstruction, becomes the United States Corporation. So, the country changed into something different. And that's what we operate under today. So just some things just to consider. How long? Okay. Just some things to consider. That's all. And I hope I don't come off as a bitter old man. Cause I got one brother. He's bitter about shit. He's Army vet, but he comes off pretty bitter, you know. And I'm not really bitter. I don't have a lot to be bitter about. So, but these are just some of my observations that I like sharing. Some parts that I've studied about history that I think is worth sharing. So as far as hard for me to say what I'm going to talk about because it's so many different things that can come up and just giving out information. And that's what I've said last night. It was a lot of last night was, and I'm still practicing, to get it's still a lot more to get together. So I'm just trying to practice to get back into it, like I did it for, what did I go from 17 until, 17. Because my other channel started in 14. I started broadcasting the summer of 16 and then summer of 17. Started again with Sly the summer of 17. And then from 17 on, I went almost every night until they killed my first channel. For those of you that remember my other channel. So just building up to get back to that point. And trying to, have something interesting. Because there's so many things to check out and consider. So many things to check out and consider. And that's what I try to relate to people. Just consider some of these possibilities. That's it. Just consider them. They killed a lot of channels. Oh, yeah. And now people can openly say the kind of thing they killed my channel for. People can openly say. And one thing that you really have to consider is when, this was like when Biden kind of took power. My channel was taken down with Democratic help, no doubt about that. Because my channel was fine when Trump was running. And it was soon as he really took over, like the 5th or 6th, that's when they killed my other channel. So you can't say that it wasn't some kind of democratic initiative there. Because it seemed to be fine talking about those same things when Trump was in office. And all I talked about is the response my doctor had after she had went through the initial, what they made doctors do. So 2021, they took a lot of channels. Yep. That's like I like about you. You don't come off bitter either. Now, guys on here at your age group, that's a different story. Well, I never understood the men thing and the bashing sisters. I never understood that thing. I've like always had women. It's like when I lived in my apartment, I was single, just fucking around with women. But, I stayed single for the most part because I did not have to settle for hags. I didn't have to settle for silly girls. I didn't have to settle for anything. I waited till I found somebody that kind of had some sense and that vibe with me. So it was never, hell, I got eight children. I've been married 3 times. Well, I married the same woman twice, so really I've been married twice. So, for me to say, talk about chicks in general, I talk about my ex because that's an individual thing, but it's not, no, just chicks in general. And I'm glad I'm with a melanated woman. I am. So I'm glad it worked out like that because here it ain't a lot of melanated people ain't here in this state. What if you were in government and people that already were possessed by aliens or demons bring you in a room and hold you down and put something in your ear and then then you are taking over too. Well, yeah, they wouldn't even have to do it that hard. They could put it in the water. They could put it in the food. I mean, you know how easy it would be to do that to somebody? You just go to a restaurant. I mean, if they want to get you, they could get you. They ain't got to rough you up like that. They could do it easily. I mean, hell, just like in Dark City, when everybody go to sleep, the tuners come in. I mean, hell, when we're asleep, we don't really know. We don't really know because they could come in with a vibration that wouldn't even set off any alarms or anything, and they could tune us any kind of way they wanted to. So, do you believe that this might be happening? I don't believe in anything. You already know that, Jeffrey. I don't believe in anything, but it's possible. As I was talking about last night, we all sleep at the same time. And yes, there are people out there working, there are people who stay up late, but there are times where 90% of the people, I'll say 85% of the people in America are asleep at the same time. Now, I remember, where I lived before. I've told the story, when I would go out there and there's a way where you can start dealing with the planets and you can really freeze this reality and you can start, it gives you kind of a slight dimensional shift. I don't even know if that's correct, but you like this matter starts going away in large numbers and you just see people, like you'd see people on the second floor because all these people just sleep in open space. I mean, that's what it turns into. I mean, I mean, it's really to see this. It's. I know it's hard for people to imagine just walking through and all the houses is gone, all the furniture and all the houses and everything is gone, but all you see is people in space and they all sleep. That's a hell of a thing to walk down the street and you just don't, ain't no houses, but you see people in space, and the people be on the second floor, people be in the basement and shit. Now I only say that because during that kind of vibration, anything could come through. And as Dark City, when the people come in and tune everything, it's very, I could very easily see that being done because that's a vibration that most people don't even see. I mean, it took a couple years and it's not hard. It's hard to hold that kind of thing. I mean, you really got to concentrate to hold that kind of thing, to even experience it. So who's to say that, that can't be happening? Very well could be. I keep thinking that there is a connection between I keep thinking that there's a connection to this demonic possession, aliens, and somehow it's connected. It's either really aliens or fallen angels acting like angels. It can't be both. Well, I've talked about this, before. There have been non-humans on this planet for a long time. I mean, just as you look at octopus that doesn't come from this planet, we look at gold that doesn't come from this planet. There are things that have been on this planet that don't come from this planet. But these beings have lived here so long, I don't even know if we can call them aliens. I think the only thing I've called them non-humans. So they've been here. Now, fire as demons, I mean, I'll give you a prime example of how demons work. Crack is a drug that demons love. Demons love crack. I mean, if there's ever a drug that the demonic likes, it really likes crack. And you talk to people that go on deep crack binges and really crack addiction, they are getting the demon high after a while. And they see and feel this demon. The more they get high and the more they smoke this shit, they start seeing this and feeling this demon. That's where the tweaking of the paranoia comes in. My ex-wife would get high and she'd start looking behind, but she would talk about how dark it place when she would run off and be high for 3 or 4 days. And I witnessed other people sitting in the trap and you could just see when the shit would come in. But it got to a point where the demon was fucking smoking the crack. The demon was having all this sex when a girl let all these motherfuckers run into him because she wants to smoke all this crack. Or a gay guy sucks all these dicks because he wants to smoke crack. This is demon activity. Perversion. So, I remember being afraid of missing something when I got sent to bed. Yeah. It's funny. My son, would go to school, and I don't know why I wasn't working at the time, but I wasn't working. And he's like, "What do you do all day?" I said, "Hell, I party. You motherfuckers is gone. That's what I do all day." uh, it's a celebration that you motherfuckers is gone. And so what we're dealing with is a consciousness that's been around and used to dealing with us for a long time. It's not that that these beings haven't been here and ain't been used to dealing with us. And so, as I've said, anybody that meditates, you see aliens all the time. You see other life forms all the time. I mean, it's pretty common. And so, recognize that's what you. So to say, it's like drinking is another thing that can activate the demons too. I mean, there's a certain amount of drinking you can do that activates certain demons. Demons kind of like some of that energy as well. So uh, there are things that we can do that attract demons to us more and let them out more. Crack smoking demons. Keep in mind that shit was made in a government lab. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But that's what at its depths. That's what it brings out. It brings out these demons, and they love that shit. They love that shit. I can't say demons so much for heroin, but they love crack. And see, crack was more accessible than freebase, even though freebase would put that demon in your face a lot quicker. But crack was cheaper because remember, cocaine was a rich person's drug. I mean, it was a sign that you made it. That's why it was so easy to set Len Bias up and make him overdose because it was looked at as a drug that you made it. That's how it was looked at in the 80s and the 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was a drug that showed you made it. You come to a party, I mean, you know what it's like where, you go to the party and you got the lines? I don't know if, people remember that or are you even old enough to remember that. That was quite a thing. The motherfucker come, and this was like not even just, you wasn't even slanging. It was like just motherfuckers want to do lines and shit. And of course, it'd be an easy way to sell it too, the same way. But it's like you come to a party and motherfuckers like, oh, so and so, and you the man, and they know you got some lines. You go to a back room, everybody go to the room where you go. You pull out the plate, motherfuckers have straws. You put lines out. But that was a sign of success. Was being able to do that kind of thing. And then crack turned it into something different because, again, it affected people different. I've never really heard a person that snorted powder that said, they felt the demons. I've only heard that from smokers. Okay. They call it the rich man's. They used to call powder the rich man's drug. Yeah. Like you read that book by Larry Lavin, it was one time where keys of cocaine was $100,000. So, the price is still, it's always been the same prices basically though. $100 a gram, $50 for a half, 20, 25 for a quarter. 8-ball was I mean, if you go by those prices, 8-ball would be 3-something, like 350, but most time you get 8-balls about $200. But like you could even go to a party with an 8-ball. Shit, I would love to get a bunch of niggas high. When these celebrities sign contracts, is there a death date on it too? Is it death by numbers, or are these people chosen before birth, just set up? I think it goes into the names also. I think the time that they are born, their astronomical chart, and the name. I think that's when they're chosen. They're chosen those things. Now, again, they love the sons of entertainers and athletes. They love the sons because it's easier for them to do the fix. But yeah, I think all those, the name, the astronomical chart, the name and astronomical chart. I think that's just as important. Now, as I've said, the way the contracts really look now is the contracts are full out like the Harry Potter papers. And I've talked about this many, many times. The way the contracts look like the Harry Potter papers, where you are doing whatever you do, but you're not looking at just a flat picture or even a hologram. It's moved past that. You're actually seeing what you're doing. And that's what you sign over. That's what you put the blood to. it's not even blood anymore. It's even that it's yeah it's so when they sign you in, they already know it's like they know you match everything, and so you match everything to whatever role they put you in. But also, when they look at the date, they look at what energy they want your death to give. That's also something that exists. Always a family tragedy with celebrities. Absolutely, it's sacrifices. So that is determined. It's not given to the person, but it's already determined in the file. If you imagine, if it's already determined in the file will always show that. Okay. So, so no, that person won't know. I mean, we see the brother just sacrifice before the John Wick movie, and that ain't strange. Mm. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna cut it tonight. I gave almost 2 hours worth of work. Instead of taking a pee break, I can just cut it because I do need to get a little rest tonight. I got a few things to do in the morning. Most of their names that jumped up. Most of their names are in porn too. Demons are in porn too. They call what's their always a family. Demons are in porn. Yeah. Well, porn didn't start off as a demonic thing. I talked about that last night. Porn comes from the divine feminine. She didn't mind it when it first came out. She didn't mind porn. She was thrilled when. Oh, there it is over there. Because porn was the one that won between beta and VCRs. Porn was the deciding factor. Porn chose VCR, and that's what killed the Betamax. Betamaxes was actually a better format, but porn chose VCR, and that's why we used VCR. But yes, porn turned demonic, but at first it wasn't looked at as demonic. Especially you look at Debbie Does Dallas. You look at a movie called Deep Throat. Do you guys remember what Deep Throat was about? Do you guys remember the story of Deep Throat? In Deep Throat, the woman's clitoris was in her throat. So the only way she could have an orgasm was to get fucked in her throat. That's what the movie was about. So that's the premise of Deep Throat. Most names are spelled different to match the gematria. Yes, that is a good point. They are. They are definitely spelled. Yeah, Anthony. Anthony. uh, so, well, guys, I'm gonna cut it short tonight. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you last night for the ones that stayed and the ones that watched it afterward. Even if you watch a couple minutes, I hope it's a couple minutes that's helpful. I don't watch such films, sir. Yeah, I don't. I've never been a porn person. Um, I loved. I admit I loved Debbie Does Dallas, and I love Deep Throat. I just thought they were classic porns, and that was the first when you could dub movies. It was like Richard Pryor Live and Debbie Does Dallas and Deep Throat. Those were my first dubs where you could get two DV. You would just needed an extra one, and you could record. And that was the first thing because Deep Throat is hilarious. Debbie Does Dallas is hilarious too. So it's just kind of funny, the old type of porn, not so gross porn. And I ain't never been. I'll say this: I ain't never been a person that likes looking at another motherfucker's dick. Like if it was a threesome, ain't no way I would be with another man, and one woman. I would never want to be around another dick like that. That's why I don't like watching porn because I definitely don't like watching two men. I don't like seeing a man at all. So that's why I ain't never been into porn. I don't want to see a man at all. Now I don't mind seeing women do shit. That's okay. But even that, I ain't thirsty to watch that shit. Never been really like that. And now jacking off to porn is demonic too, because you're opening up frequencies that you might not want to open up. You're letting something in that feeds off that. And so don't jack off to that shit because that can, you can start getting possessed like that. Someone start fucking with you. Hey, you need to go jack off. Let's watch this porn and jack off. I mean, you'll start getting those kind of thoughts. Damn, you need to jack off watching porn. So that's kind of demonic. That's like I don't like when chicks are drunk. I don't like having sex with drunk people because that's like I know my ex-wife. That's what it used to be. She'd get drunk and didn't want to have sex. But if she wasn't drunk, she didn't want to have sex. But when she was drunk, she'd come home and want to have sex. And it's like I'm having sex with this demonic thing. Edwards' injury. I did not. OTF. I did not see his injury. Oh, yeah. He hurt his ankle. Yeah, I did see it. He hurt his ankle. That's right. Yeah, I saw it. Yep, I did. So that's just some advice for y'all. Do it till you're satisfied. Do it any way you want it. It's just some shit to consider. It's some shit to consider. That's all. Yeah, I'm going to cut off. Okay, I'm over 2 and I got to pee. I'm drinking all this goddamn water. I got to pee. So thank you. Tomorrow night. Yeah, I should be on tomorrow night. Or tomorrow sometime. But probably tomorrow night, same time. Monday night, yeah. So, yeah, don't jack off to that shit. That shit can come back and put a mojo on ya. Well, y'all, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host. Big Pontiac. Let me see if I can do this right quick. Let's see. I'm gonna have to look it back up. Oh, here we go. See if I can get this shit. Commercials. Here it is. Okay. All right. This is Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, say less.
Shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it. No goddamn money you can get it.
Talk to me, you ain't got a gun in your hand?
Scatterman, please now. Hey, come on, put the gun down, please, man.
I'll kill this nigga of yours.
Scatterman, we're just trying to get out, man. Please.